Today's video, we're going to talk about what I call testimonial ads. Basically taking a customer testimonial, putting it into an ad to actually get people to buy something from you. Also, what you could call a review, customer review, all kind of means the same thing to me, but specifically taking your customer's reaction to your product or service, packaging that up to get more customers from it. Most people, when they think about a testimonial, it's something that they put on their website, which is one great way to use a testimonial, but it's not by any means the only way you should use it. You can use it with your PPC advertising, particularly advertising that shows up for somebody after they've been to your site, or i.e. called remarketing, to get more of the people who come to your site to buy, get more people who come to your site who had from other sources. You got a referral that comes to the site, not always do those close. Now we got a paid campaign that's going to take those leads and close them at a higher rate, and just close leads in and itself that we wouldn't have closed otherwise. Of course, any paid advertising that you do now, you tack on one or more of these. More the better. The more you do, the more results you're going to get in terms of the punch that your advertising is going to pull. The amount of people that you bring to your site and what money you spend for it, you'll automatically get more just applying these things that I'm going to mention to you on today's video as well, which are all different forms of testimonials / reviews that you get from your customers, but can be framed in a bunch of different ways. So I'm going to go through the 7 different main ways that I advertise a testimonial / review to get more sales, how that actually is able to get a cheaper cost per sale than even search engine advertising in and itself provides, and how you could tap into this for yourself. I also give you, for each one of these things that I used, examples, real world examples of where I've used this before, so you can kind of see practical examples how to do this for your business and make it work for your company, get the same kind of results that we're getting for our clients, which is leads for half the price of what we could get them off Google search, which means you should be doing the same thing for yourself before you even work on any search engine advertising or additional search engine advertising for yourself. And with that said, going into that same idea, people at our firm generally want to spend more money and time advertising to get a new person to buy from them than focus on getting more of the people that they already track to buy from them, or just buy, or the people that came to their site to buy at a higher rate. The fact that you focus heavily or more than other people in your niche or space can be your competitive edge in your market, given all of the advertising that you do in the future is going to work better because it's going to convert at a higher rate, because people who see testimonials will automatically buy at a higher rate. That's just how it is. And of course, other traffic sources you have that come to your site, you're also going to earn big off of those, more so than other people, but more so just in general that you have now. So instead of just keep trying to focus on, in other words, how do I get another customer? If you haven't done all these things, focus on these things first. You're going to get a lot of cheap customers from it. And again, in any way that you're basically going to advertise later on, it's all going to work twice as well, literally speaking, than what it would have if you didn't employ these things that I'm going to give you here on this particular video. Respectively, this will work for basically any company. Of course, there are some products out there where testimonial / review isn't that big of a deal. To give you one example, the apparel industry. Of course, you have a visual product there. Having someone give a review saying how awesome it was isn't going to help a lot, because you could evaluate just by looking at it. But virtually anything else that you can't tell the quality just by looking at it, or in a few short words describe the quality of it. You may have features of your apparel, your t-shirt or whatever that you're selling, that can't be described in a picture alone, i.e. it might be made in the USA, but you could quickly describe that through words, and therefore a testimonial isn't going to really help. Of course, there's things such as, you're using double stitching or whatever on your clothing, and you can't spell that out, and a testimonial perhaps could frame more so that the quality really is good, it lasted a long time or whatever. But in those particular cases, just generally, bottom line, it's not going to help you near as much as in other situations where the product's newer, or the product's more just unknown, or it's questionable as to what you have works, or to what degree it works, or if it can work at all, or anything that claims what you do can work at all. It'll work way more in those instances. I don't want to say 90% of the products and services that we market here at our firm at PPC, Guaranteed PPC, benefit to some degree from these reviews here, which is why we use them on every single campaign. The only time we can't use them is, of course, the client does not give us any material to promote. And everybody can get it. It's just a question of going out there, putting a game plan together and getting it. And you may have to ask a few customers to get what you need, but it's always worth it. And at least if not, even though not every customer can give you this, if you start putting a plan in to start asking people for this stuff, you'll build up a collection of it, and eventually you will be able to get these super cheap sales in terms of what it costs, in terms of marketing spend to get a sale for yourself, just like we're doing it here at our clients, or for our clients out here at our agency, our PPC agency. That said, there is no other higher ROI display PPC advertising technique than the testimonial/review ad. So in other words, there's search engine advertising, and then there's everything else, which is called display advertising in terms of the world of online advertising itself. Okay, out of all the display advertising, which you could group Facebook ads, Twitter ads, LinkedIn ads, Google Display Network, which gets you on millions of different websites where you can see banner ads there. It's usually accessible through Google Display Network, or you could group Taboola or AdRoll or all these other places out there. You know, that's not search engine advertising that you get done through Google search or Bing search. I literally cannot think of a better format to advertise what you can put on a banner ad that's going to get us low cost of a sale as the testimonial/review, because if you think about it, you put yourself in the consumer's shoes. If you haven't bought from somebody already, and you're going to give that company a chance, given there's other factors such as your pricing and all that. For somebody to value you at a certain price, and there's other competitors in the market, you're not the only one doing this. And even if if you are the only one doing this, then the question is, does it really work? Because there's not other companies doing it. Why is it? What's the case with that? You, in either case, whether you're the first one or one of many in your market doing what you do, the top question in your mind is this company full of shit, and can I trust them? And therefore, you can answer that in the best way possible by physically seeing what customers that you've had have already said, who've been your guinea pig, and you don't have to be the first one figuring this out for yourself. And with that, the more in-depth the review, the more you're going to be able to garner from that, the process of or what a review can provide, and it's more believable, harder to fake. And so there's kind of a hierarchy of the types of reviews you can do in terms of which ones will get you the most sales at the lowest cost per sale, and which ones will get you some sales but at a higher cost per sale in terms of what you need to pay to get somebody who sees an ad to get a sale off of that, as per in the general testimonial/review space, which I'm going to talk about. And with all this, because people generally, the number one thing they basically want to know and hear and see from you that's going to convince them to buy is what your other customers are getting, as what are they saying and what do they get in terms of results. You're going to get cheaper in terms of a paid advertising strategy. Not only does everything that, in terms of running banner ads and so forth and Facebook ads and stuff, is the testimonial review going to get, it actually gets us the highest ROI out of anything else that we can promote. it'll also, that ROI will be even better than the search engine advertising will be to try to go after a new person. Okay? And again, it's not, this is going after anybody who's came to your site. It doesn't matter where it's from, whether you got them from a search engine ad that they came to your site that way, or they came from a referral, or they came from a Google organic click, and then you're hitting them with the testimonial ad, which you have an ad that shows up for somebody that has the testimonial you got from a customer in it. The ROI / cost per lead and all that's going to be better than even the search engine advertising, which is why you want to focus on doing this today before going after somebody new, or even if you are just spending money on to get traffic to your site. You're throwing money away without doing this stuff because every single person you market to wants to see this stuff. So at least before you waste any more time trying to improve your marketing at your company to get traffic to your website, if that's your goal, and get them to buy, of course, you focus on this first so people that come to your site buy at a higher rate, and in general, this is a higher ROI activity than anything else you could probably pretty much do at this moment in time to take you to the next step forward in your company. That said, now there's different types of testimonial / review ads where you can take a review or testimonial from some of your customers, package it up in an ad, ad / landing page. You know, of course, we got to have some place to take them to. We're not just taking them to our product page after they see a testimonial. Generally speaking, if you want to get the super high ROI from this methodology that I'm showing you here, which even if you did send them directly to a product page after seeing a testimonial, that would actually work. This whole thing works so well that that'll even be profitable. I'm going to go through what you would actually put on the ad and what you would put on the landing page to take advantage of this, and specifically which ones work better, which ones you should do first because it has the highest return. And then with that, you can kind of go through, pick the ones that are for you. The more of these you do, the more return is possible for you. And there's a synergistic effect of using different types of reviews in combination, because it's going to make the user, it'll magnify the amount of trust that you're going to get from the user, having seen that it's not just, obviously, it's just like in real life. If you hear one person say something, that's one thing. But if you hear 3 people say something, it's not just 3 times as powerful, it's like 10 times as powerful, because humans have evolved to believe what other people around them are telling them to save time and energy evaluating things. This is how we're evolved to figure out what's bullshit and what's not. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to start with the top of the list of how to do these ads, how to implement this in your company to get low cost sales / high ROI sales from paid advertising that you can do for your business starting right away. Or at least get the process in motion right away. The first one is before and after photos / videos. So this one is just like it sounds. So you got to ask your customers to send you a photograph if you have a visual, result, basically, so to say, that can be shown through photography or through videography. You ask, when you and the easiest way to do this is when you're talking to customers, or your salespeople are talking to customers, or your customer service people are talking to customers, you make them all aware that when somebody really speaks, is singing praises of your company and a specific product, that you actually ask them if there's it's possible for you to send a photo in. And sometimes they'll say no, that's expected. Don't be discouraged after 1 or 2 no's, though, to just not ask again, because you might take 5 asks to get one set of photos or one video from somebody that they can take on their iPhone, which is fine, by the way, because the information that is so needed by the customer, they don't care about the quality of the video per se so much. But you get those, and you're able to, of course, getting a photo showing the results of what you have is great. But specifically, what I'm talking about here, which is out of all the strategies I have here, this works the best. The before and after specifically works the best. So if you can get somebody that shows your before, or whatever before you have and an after, that is like, that's money, basically. Because you can show the consumer exactly what is the change that you're going to get, what's the type of size of change that I can expect, because people, when they see good results, by the way, you know what they say? They say, yeah, he got good results, but I don't know if that'll work for me. And people that run businesses don't think about, their customer that way, but that's exactly how people think. But if you put it specifically that this person did not have a lot of money and they were able to make it work, therefore I can make it work, it cuts out that particular negative self-talk in the consumer's head, which is why presumably it works so damn well. I don't know that scientifically for a fact, but pretty much knowing this is how people behave, and having taken customer surveys and listened to what people say and what their rebuttals are for when they don't buy, why they're not going to buy, or why they're not buying yet. This is clearly what this takes care of as far as I'm concerned. And in terms of executing this, you have a banner ad that you make, and you literally it's real simple. You put in the banner ad before, you got your photo, and then after, next to it, after, and then you have the person's name. Look at the great results for Aaron C. from Utah, from like Orem, Utah, or whatever. So it's clear they'll see the photos first, and then they're like, I wonder what this is. Oh, it's one of their customer before and afters or whatever from XYZ company. So you only need your logo, see what results from Aaron C. from Orem, Utah, and then the before, after, and the after photo, with the before photo, little before underneath the photo, and then the photo should be side by side horizontally if you just want to keep it simple, and this is normally what we use and is proven. Then the after photo is directly to the right of that, and then it says after underneath. Or it could be, if it's a vertical ad, it could be before is above the after, so they see the before first. That's normally what's natural for the user to see. And with that, when the user clicks on the ad, they're going to see the ad, they're going to internalize what you said, they're going to think it's interesting, and they're going to be more likely to buy from you in the future when they get paid, when they talk to their husband. There's different reasons why people that come to your site, 80% of the people who come to your site aren't going to buy right away. They think about it, they got to look around, whatever first. But when they do decide, the day comes where they say, okay, I got paid, I'm going to buy from one of these pest control companies today, because you've shown the before and after or whatever. And with this is not a good example where we specifically use this, where it worked extremely good well in the past, was for a painting company that sold a paint product, showing the before and after, what it looked like before and then after. It worked extremely well. But people saw that, certainly, because as is with all remarketing, if you do remarketing, you have a testimonial or whatever you have, people are going to see it. And then they're not going to click on it most of the time because they're busy doing other things. They're reading that article, whatever. But when they go to decide to buy 2 weeks from now, when they get paid or they get the money and they say, I have to buy from somebody today, they're more likely to buy from you because you followed up with them, because your competitors have not. Therefore, they're more likely to think of you first, because if they haven't decided yet and they got to hurry and make a decision, the person that's followed up with them is going to come to mind first. Whatever comes to mind first is the person's going to think is the most authoritative in the space. Otherwise, I wouldn't have thought of them first. Therefore, I can trust them. Therefore, I'll buy from them. They go to Google, they type in your name, they buy. So you'll get some of that, as a byproduct of this, i.e. any other traffic to your site will now convert better just because they've seen the ad. But you will also get, because this works so damn good, people clicking through that actual ad. And with that, you want to take them to a dedicated page on your site. It could just be a blog post that you use your blog to get you a page where you can actively update your before and after photos. But I would recommend having your before and after photos all on one page. So if they click on that, they can go to a page and see all the other before and afters you have. There's a different way. You could do a spin-off of this, which is if they click on that ad, you take them to a page Aaron C. from Orem, Utah, which was on that ad. You could go into other photos and other details about that particular customer on a dedicated page about that. And then at the bottom of that page, you could link to a page that has other before and after photos if you wanted to. But most of the time, we don't get so lucky to know all that rest of that information about that customer. We were lucky enough to get just the before and afters. In that case, if you can't get the entire backstory or whatever from that person, then just link them to the page with all the rest of the before and afters on it, so they can go and see, wow, not just like it wasn't just this person that had a good result, so all these other people. Therefore, there's enough people here. This product has to be good. I have confidence enough to buy it right now, and they do buy it right now. Whereas they were on the fence before this, they didn't know you had all these before and after photos. They see now you have 15 before and after photos. Now they're confident enough to buy it, and they do it right then. Whereas they weren't ever going to buy from you before, unless and until they saw that extra information you gave them there to just get them over the rest of the way, or off the fence, so to say, if you will. So that's the kind of way that I would recommend setting that up, and those are so effective. That whole funnel right there that I gave you, the before and after photo on the ad, linking to the page with the rest of your before and after photos, will get you a higher ROI than your search engine advertising or any other online advertising that you're already doing, because it's so effective. Of course, if you're not in a space that has where you can show physically, visually, how your product's improved, visually or whatever, then you can't use it, unfortunately. Like I said, this worked extremely well, and I've done it multiple times now, but one example was in the paint space, because you could physically see before and after how there's a difference there. This could be detailing, this could be tree clearing, it could be all kinds of things. Don't limit yourself, and at the very least, give it a try. Yet, even though it's going to be difficult to get the before and afters first, and you got to do all this work before you even know if it works. But trust me, give it a try. You'll see also, if your tracking's hooked up the right way, you'll get a cheaper cost per sale or higher ROI, which means the same thing regardless, than what your other advertising you're paying to get new people to the site now, which is why you want to do it. Okay, and then obviously once you see it works, it'll just work for years, because basically once it's working, it'll keep working forever. And then, of course, as you get more before and after photos, if you don't start out with a lot, you keep adding them to your landing page, which has the rest of your before and afters. And even if you start out with like 2 or 3 before and afters, it's already enough to get a higher ROI from that campaign than other stuff that you're advertising to get new traffic to the site now as well. Or even traffic to get back to the site. It'll work better than other so-called remarketing that you're doing as well. It's the most effective paid advertising that you could effectively come up with. But you keep adding your before and after photos to your landing page as you collect them. If you can get 15, 20, 25, 30 of them, at that point you have diminishing returns. More of them isn't going to help you, and you're pretty much set. That funnel will work extremely well for you today, and will work good for you 5 years from now, effectively, as long as the pictures aren't somehow outdated and it's obvious that, and you have to be current or whatever. But for the most part, 95% of you, that it'll work today, and then it'll work 5 years from now, and it'll just work and work and work. So, this is a small side tip about this. You want to do this for each individual product. It works so much better. So in other words, if you sell a red paint, going back to my previous example, you want your before and after to be the red paint. And then, so with that, to take a step backwards, if they get to the product page with the red paint, you want to make sure you have a funnel just for the red paint people. So later on, when they see your before and after photo, it's the before and after with no paint and then red paint. Because that's what they want to see. What is the red paint going to look like after? You will still make a return even if they see another color paint, but if you have the product specific before and after, you'll get twice as much out of it just by going and doing that extra level of detail on your campaigns. And obviously you can't do that right away when you're just starting out because you don't have enough photos, but eventually if you can upgrade that and take it the rest of the way there, you'll double whatever you're basically doing already, just from having a before and after it all available for the customer to see essentially what all the, if you sell paint, what all the, before and after photos look like of your brand of paint versus your red color paint, specifically that they were looking at. So, respectively, you do this, all the traffic that you have coming to the site is now going to convert better, it's going to come back and convert at a higher rate. Some people will click on the ad, convert right then and there. Some people will see the ad, and when they do go to buy, they'll end up buying from you at a higher rate. All kinds of things like your organic clicks that you're getting to your site will convert at a higher rate. And the people that came from your site organically, that were just doing research, they'll end up buying from you. You'll get customers from that you just wouldn't have gotten otherwise having this testimonial ad set up for them. Even if you just have that one before and after photo, you're going to compound that effect if you have multiple before and after ads. If you want to get, you like what results you got with one ad and one before and after photo ad, do 3 to 5 before and after ads. You'll get the most results out of it. You might get twice as much results with 3 to 5 versus 1, and then taking it a step further, you're going to have before and afters up to 3 to 5 for that exact product, for people that get to that product to see the before and afters linked to that exact product itself. To take things, basically double your results again, on top of the fact that you'll double your results going from 1 before and after ad to 3 to 5 before and after ads that could cycle out for the user. And so if they saw the before and after ad and they were curious, by the time they see the third before and after, they're curious enough to click on your ad and now go to your site, which on the first one by itself, they're like, I don't know, that guy might have been lucky, whatever. But you start showing them the ads again and again. Now it's really convincing, basically. And you get them to your site. Now they see the other 25. Now they're really convinced you're going to get a purchase at a high rate for anybody who clicks on that ad in general. And of course, if they see 3 to 5 ads, the likelihood that they're going to buy later from you, when they were going to actually have the money, or the day comes they're actually going to buy something, you're going to get a more of those people to buy from you having seen 3 to 5 versus the 1, but twice as much, just in general. That's the deal there. And of course, if you're running paid advertising, like I said now, essentially all of that traffic that you're paying big bucks to send to your site right now, it's going to convert upwards of double in general, having done a good job with this implementation here, and you actually go forward with this. I know this because we do remarketing on every single client's campaigns we run here at our PPC firm, and the number one, again, thing that you can do for remarketing as well, and just in general with PPC, like I said, but number one thing you can do with remarketing is the testimonial/review ads, and we work really hard and work with that client to get the photos, the videos, and then with that be able to exploit this for as many clients as we can. So that it makes it easier for me and for our company to be able to do paid advertising for that client, when every click that we can send to the site can now magically convert at twice the rate overall, from the people that right away buy and the people that could potentially come back. That within 90 days of the click, they're going to convert. We're going to convert twice as many of them as if there was no remarketing, none of these review/testimonial ads that show up for them routinely after they got into the site. This makes our job a lot easier. Anyway, so with that said, I mentioned photos. You can use videos for the before and after. I would say start with the photos, because in an ad, without having to pay attention to it, they can see right away within like a second what you're trying to convey to them. You want to do a video before and after because you have something a little bit more intricate. You can do that. You can have a video ad show up for people on, of course, Facebook, LinkedIn, through something that's called YouTube Outstream ads. You can have that video play without sound on millions of different websites that have advertising on them. You're scrolling down an article. There's a space for ads. Your ad will be the video itself of the before and after, and it'll be playing but with no sound. And you can click to hear the sound if you want, but it'll be there as well. So just like a regular banner ad, and you can do that. What I told you with the banner ad, you can do it. So the video will physically show up, and the video will be playing. So you have to be, and with that you have to be, strategic to make sure that basically you want it for the first 5 seconds watching it. You can tell what it is. It's a before and after that you're trying to describe or show users there on the video. Otherwise, they're going to pass your video up. They're not going to know what the hell's going on. You've wasted your time and your money. The second type of video, so that's the most profitable. Before and afters, if you can get that, those are money. Second most profitable one is the long form videos. Specifically, well, I should have wrote down here, video. Long form video reviews. So if you can interview your customer in a long form format, asking them, okay, what did you think of the company? How are you doing this? So you can suck out all that valuable information that's in their head about the pain points that they had, the problems that they solved, specifically how they get results on all these different kinds of categories. Like, if we were doing a golf club, let's just say here, how did it help you in terms of distance? How did it help you in terms of hitting it straight? How did it help you? And you can go through each one of those. So basically within a 15-minute video, you can go through every possible thing that your product or service did for them. So when somebody watches that video, it literally tells them everything that they need to know. And one is good, but multiples way better, like twice as good as only having one, because of the consensus factor that people, again, believe what they see other people having presumed a consensus on that other people are saying, even though it's might 3 people that you have and you have thousands of customers, to them, everybody's saying it if they just see 3 just laid out for them like that. But I would recommend doing that. So just like in a podcast format, basically, you sit down with them, you do a podcast, you send them the production camera, whatever you need, to their address if you need to. Compensate them if you obviously need to. There's no reason why you can't pay them to do an interview. I don't see how this is unethical at all. And you just ask them all those questions. Have really good prepared written questions, and you record it all. And then from there, you put it on YouTube, and you can have those show up while people are watching other YouTube videos through YouTube in-stream ads. You can have that same video show up on the web in general through that YouTube outstream ad product, like I said before, where it's just on, where there's different ad blocks on article sites, on news sites, whatever. It could be on crosswords.com. You see the video there as you're scrolling, or on the sidebar, or whatever. And so with that, it's a little harder to for them to make out when they're not on YouTube itself, to see exactly what it is you're doing there, because there's no sound playing. But the key is the people who watch the video, if they're actually serious about buying a product in your market, this is content that they cannot find elsewhere. Nobody else took the time to do it most of the time. I'd say nobody in your space is doing it if you're in 95% of the markets out there, you could tell me all day about this feature and that feature. You give me a long form format video that tells me how this other customer you helped them in every possible way and in detail. That's what information I need more than anything else, which is why you want to do this. 70% of people go on YouTube now. So hopefully, chances are they're just on YouTube anyway while they're in the purchase cycle of the time they're evaluating, buying your product or service from you or from somebody in your market, so that they can see your actual video pop up during a video they're watching, and there won't be any question as to whether or not they're going to be able to see this and be helped by it. You can do it on video, on Facebook, do a video ad there, LinkedIn video ad there. Basically, any place that you can advertise it, you advertise it. And that goes for all this stuff because it's so profitable. There's not a place where you advertise that is not going to be profitable. You want to get on as many ad networks as you can. And there's a bunch of them. If you don't know all the places, just Google it. Places you can do online advertising. There's, so many places. And most of the places let you do remarketing alone, or quite a few. Google, Facebook, Twitter, they all let you do remarketing. Okay, so that's that one. So that's the second most profitable one. So that's the second most profitable way that you can run a testimonial/review ad for your company. If you can do 1 and 2 both, do them both, because you're going to earn even more. You want every last click you can get from somebody who wants to see your customers' reactions, because they're all very profitable, more profitable than other stuff we can do, like I said several times on this video. But the third one is you can do third-party review site review. So with this one, and just to take a step backwards here real fast, the long-form video reviews, we did this for somebody that had an investment product, which the long-form video review goes over how much money they made, which is perfect for anything like that. And it crushed it for them. Whereas before, they weren't doing that hot. Once they started able to get people to the site who wanted to just get a good investment, and then they get to see this video review that goes over exactly how it earned this person money, and actually it was multiple videos once we were done with it. It did very, very well. So anything like that kind of a field would work well, but again, this can work for anything that's more technical and a little bit harder to explain, especially so. But even then, even if it's just makeup that you're selling, you could go through and ask that person about how it affects your skin, and so on and so on and so on. For this next one, third-party review site reviews, this is like where you go to there's usually in every industry a company that does reviews professionally for that industry that will review. And so basically, to give you an example, we did this in the mattress market. Specifically in the bed in a box companies, like where you buy a foam mattress and they mail it out to you, similar to Casper mattresses. Everybody's heard of them. That's the big one in that particular space. So with that, the company already sent their mattress into this review site that just does reviews on mattresses, specifically the ones that are mailed to you. And with that, they got a good review. So right away, I was able to I didn't have to even ask for it. I knew I could take that and exploit it for free, cheap sales. And so with that, we packaged it up into as many different ad formats as we could, with that, different banner ad sizes, and used it on Facebook ads, and which is also what you want to do. You don't just want to do like Google Display Network, but Facebook and any place that anybody is going to look. And so with that, with our ad, we just had like what looks like the video there with a play button on it, and then it says watch testimonial, which is what you want to do here with it as well. And then just say, name of review company rates the name of your product 5 stars. C testimonial or C review. So C testimonial or C review. So basically, you're not trying to get fancy in this ad. People overthink this. You just want to advertise the fact and as clean and as clear as you can, the fact that you have your product was reviewed on a industry review site, so that and with that, what score you got, if you can fit it in there, so that they don't even have to click on your ad to know you were reviewed well on a respected third-party source. But with that, if there's a video review and an article on this site, I recommend showing, because you'll get a higher click-through rate, a video and what looks like the person testing out your product inside the video capture frame inside your ad, and the part of the ad that actually has a video with a play button over it, and then so that they'll click that, and if, presumably to want to go see the video review, which they go to the blog. I wouldn't send them directly to the video on YouTube. If you had that kind of a situation where you have a review site and they did a video review and an article, send them to the article so they can see that there was a write-up there, and then they can watch the video there. And so with that, then they will, after seeing that, a lot of times be convinced enough to go ahead and finish purchasing. Now, another way that you can do this technically is you can take that review and sum it up on a blog post on your site, and then instead of taking the person to the review site, you can take them to your site as well, and that might convert at an even better rate for you, given they're already on your site. So if they're going to buy, now they don't have to go to your site. Now they're already on your site, and you can have a link on the bottom of your blog post even that takes them directly to the product page of the product that they were originally looking at. So if they were looking at product A, your ad shows that product reviewed. You send them to the blog post where that product's reviewed, which is just like a copy paste of the content from the review site, in which if they go, you have some buy now links within that blog post content, which if they click any of them, you take them right back to the product. It's easier, more convenient for them to go buy. And anytime you make it easier, less stressful and less confusing to buy from you, they're going to buy from you more. So you can consider doing that. I like in those situations where a respected third-party source in our industry has reviewed the product, to send them back to there, which respectively, that in itself is hard to track whether that converts better. There's basically a stat that says what other people say about you is 4 times as powerful as what you can say about yourself. And because we use multiple these testimonial/review ads, I want some of them to point to outside sources so they can see it. They'll have, in my opinion, an even greater or more cumulative effect of, instead of just us saying everything that our customers said on our site, they can actually see that it's also literally on other websites. So we kind of do want them to see that it's not just on our site that we're putting this here, and to believe everything we say that's on our site. There's a strong psychological appeal or effect of actually seeing what you're saying on your ad being said on the other industry review site, that you can see clearly this is a respected source. And so when you, instead of sending them to your blog post that says who, this industry review was done by a respected source in our industry or whatever, if they go to the site itself, they'll be able to more easily be able to tell that that is a respected source. You technically could have, which I do this quite often, if you were going to send them to a blog post, where you say what industry review site reviewed your stuff, you want to link to that original article so they can verify it exists if you go that general route. But that's the general formula there. If you don't have a third-party review, you go to the review site and you say, I need to do whatever it takes to get this review. If I have to pay you, I'll pay you. If I have to send you a free product on top of it, I'll send you a free product. Why? Because this stuff is so powerful. And this is what people want to see before they buy. Particularly as you're talking about buying stuff that's more expensive, and the more expensive your product or service is, the more they're going to have to see, and the more this stuff matters before they'll buy. So if you're selling something for even a few $100s, investing in these reviews is just like the best thing you can do for your business, because it takes more to get the trust from the user, and it'll just save you money from, again, what you have to do to get traffic to the site in the first place doing this. So before you pour on more traffic, get yourself some ammo of what you can do to convince the user to buy through other ads that show up for somebody after they leave the site first. You'll do yourself a big favor doing it that way. So, and I would recommend, if you can do it, get 2 to 3 different outside third-party reviews. It could be an industry review site. It could just be Forbes reviewed your product. If you could get that done, hypothetically. There's a lot of things that can be done with money. There's news websites that, of course, if you pay them enough, they'll do an expose on your company there. And it may just be talking about your company itself, which you could say that your company is highly reviewed by XYZ company and send them to that article. That would be good. Generally speaking, obviously, for it to matter, they need to be reviewing your product or service, not just saying how cool of a company you are, even though that would help, and I would put that as a part of my remarketing sequence that I have. But realistically, you need to get your product or service itself reviewed, and so that the person looking at product A can get a breakdown of what an outside source said about product A. But that's the third one. So that's the third most profitable one out of the testimonial/review ads that you can run for your business that I've came up with. Number 4 is the customer testimonial video. So this is pretty self-explanatory. As a customer makes a video saying how good your product or service is or was for them. So you just get the customer to take an iPhone video. It can just be a talking head. They talk about how much they like the product or service. They can actually, if you want, show, if there's something physically to show, so they'll visually show whatever results they got real quick. It's going to be an amateur video, but that's okay, like I was mentioning before. They send that to you, And then with that, you do the kind of the same thing I said to do before. You have your banner ad, and you advertise in the banner ad that you have a video testimonial, which when they click on that, you send them to the part of your site that either has that video testimonial on it, or the video testimonial, and then with directly below it, all the other video testimonials that you got, so they can see, and after they're impressed with the fact that that person said something good about you, there's 10 other video testimonials there, which they won't watch, but just the fact that they're there, they'll assume all other 9 video testimonials that are there are the same, that people are saying similar things as they said on the initial one that you were advertising and drawing people into. So video testimonials work really good. It's just hard for people to get those because usually a customer won't send in a video testimonial on their own. They only write written reviews. So like I said, you train your staff, so when somebody is already praising your product or service, you ask them for a video testimonial. Or if you are going to, like, for instance, people's homes, you have it as a part of your whole process of delivery. Right after you deliver it, and you ask people what they think. If they say it's great, ask them right then and there for the video testimonial. Or, you could do this. This applies for any kind of review, but that's the time you do it, because they're going to feel like they need to give back to you for doing such a good job. And they feel like an ass basically saying no at that point in time, where you say, how do you like it? And they say, great. Okay, will you do a video testimonial for us? You're kind of like tricked into having to say yes. It's a great strategy, by the way. So that's the 4th most profitable out of our list here of testimonial/review advertisements we could run for our company. Number 5 is customer photos. So pretty self-explanatory. The customer, if you have a visual product or service, or the results that can be shown visually, you have customers send you photos, and you may get those already, but again, you may have to actively ask for them when people email in saying that they like what you had, or maybe they email in and they just ask about, how do I store this or whatever. They mentioned, I love your product, but I want to know how to store this. And then that's your opportunity to ask for a photo. And you ask, and you're going to get a 20 or 10% success rate, but every single one is worth more sales to your company, short-term and long-term. And you advertise those. Respectively, with the customer, I forgot to mention on the customer testimonial videos, like companies where this has worked great in the past, we have a virtual reality production company that helps do like virtual reality setups, like it can do something with the headsets that you wear to show how to do certain walkthroughs of like real estate and stuff in virtual reality. So they can, for people that want to do this for, could be inspection of the place or whatever. It's an emerging field. And video testimonials did great there. We do video testimonials all the time, because I specifically ask people, our clients, to ask their customers, just like I'm asking you to do for your own company, to get those video testimonials, because they're easy. You just set up the video, they talk for 2 minutes, is all it takes. You ask them, you say, if you could on camera answer these 3 questions, which are, basically, why did you use us? And what did you like about the service? And what would you like to tell other people who's considering using the service? Which is basically all they have to say. And no fancy production quality. It's just a screen in between each part. There's just a screen with the question on it, them talking. Screen with a question on it, them talking, and that's it. That works perfectly fine. We do this all the time for even like home services, like a pest control company. I brought that up earlier. A pest control company, just seeing what other people are saying through the video testimonial helps the ROI of people, not only who just get to the landing page, because we put it there as well, and main reason why we ask for it, but we also use it once they leave the landing page or after they called already, to make sure that their closing rate on their leads they're getting is higher, because it will increase the closing rate too of people who have already turned into a lead. And so we basically use it any place we can get it, because this is like an easy way for them to know for sure that we're not full of shit, and we can be trusted. Having several video testimonials that can show up for a user after they left the page, as well, getting them on the page as well. But in the customer photos department, we had a company selling a teeth whitening product, which all the remarketing ads, which we had tons of them, that would just focus on the after photos, the results people were getting. So basically, they would buy the product, of course, if they thought their teeth were going to be really white. And then the best way to convey that is just to show and literally bombard them with different photos of customers who got really, really white teeth. That's the best way to have sold that product. I mean, after you know that they're interested in getting their teeth whitened by a teeth whitening product, that's basically your top thing you can do right then and there. Show them 50 people who got really white teeth so that they think they're going to get it. And the more you show them, the more they're going to think that I don't have nothing to worry about, that my teeth will really be as white as these people. And that goes up more and more the more photos that they see. So in this case, if you could have 15 photos that you could work into 15 different ads, and then you could rotate those out for the user, so that instead of seeing the one ad 15 times, they've seen a different photo each time. That's going to work much better than just having one ad 15 times. And so respectively, you can take the same basic, well, it's better if you change the layout, but even if you didn't change the layout of the ad, if you just swap the photo a bunch of times on the same ad with the same design and the same layout, that's going to work pretty good. If you change the layout a little bit, but just focus on the after photos, it'll work better. And that can be the one thing that really makes a big, big difference, or is a game changer for your business. Just having a bunch of different after photos that can be compiled in a bunch of different remarketing ads that show up for every single person who hits your site. And the next one on the list in terms of profitability is review scores on. So you display the review scores from review sites like Trustpilot, Angie's List, stuff like this. So what this is for instance, Trustpilot. Trustpilot is just one of those review sites that allow you to collect reviews from your customers. So okay, you can actually have where you can share what one company or one person said about your company or your product or your service on your site, on your ads, but you can also share what Trustpilot said your average score is from all your reviews. And so what we like to do is take an ad and put on here and it says our Trustpilot review score is a 4.8, and with that they see that, and that in and itself is another indication that we can be trusted. It's more than just what a testimonial says. It says lots and lots and lots of people have reviewed us, and our overall picture of our company or just our product or service is very, very high. Therefore, you can trust us. And sometimes we'll take the ad and we'll even put 3 different ones on there. We'll put like Google, Yelp, and then Facebook, or Google, Yelp, and Clutch, or Google, Facebook, and Trustpilot. So if you wanted to go all the way with this, I would recommend, several ads. One that just, if you had good reviews and a high score on Trustpilot and Google, then do 2 separate ads. And then maybe even do one with Trustpilot and Google showing on the same ad as a way to mix it up, so that people, again, they're going to think it's more impressive that if they saw multiple ads, they're going to appreciate the hustle on your end to be able to try to give that user the information they want to know from somebody in your space to help them make their decision easier. And with that, I would recommend doing, if you have an industry related review service, like Angie's List is just home services, Clutch is just B2B, so you can do that. And it's similar to like getting an award somewhere in terms of what it can do for you, which I would also recommend putting in your remarketing. If you somehow got that, that'd be another thing, which is not a testimonial/review, so I'm not talking about it here. But anyway, that's the general idea of what you do there. If you got a high review score, you say what you do, and in terms of actually implementing this, you put, like, if you're going to do Trustpilot, because you have a high score on Trustpilot, you put the Trustpilot logo on there, you put the 4 out of 5 stars there, and then you put your review score, the average score, which is your 4.8, and then so people know that trusted, respect, trust, or in general seen Trustpilot before and know kind of what that is, they can right away see, okay, he's got a 4.8 or she's got a 4.8, I can trust them, I'll buy now, or what have you. And again, a lot of this is they see that, and they've seen your other testimonials and your other reviews, and so whereas each cumulative ad that they see with all this material on it, the closer and closer they get to a purchase, you can think of it like your customer, you got a glass and you're dumping in more and more stuff into that customer's glass to the point where, if they get to the top of the glass, they'll buy. And so you just got to keep tacking on more and more material until they finally have that minimum level of trust required to decide that you're the vendor of choice if they're going to buy from you, because you're always fighting against other people. Even if they weren't considering multiple people, it's always a factor. And the more of this stuff you have to use in conjunction, the more of the time that you're going to get to the top of the glass for people. So that's effective, usually effective in conjunction with some of these other things. But that's the way to implement it. You put all the branding of Trustpilot on there, and same with like Angie's List or whatever you would use, Google reviews, so that if they trust that other company or have heard of it, then you're borrowing the trust of that company, having said what they said about you, which is you're rated really high, you're rated a 4.7, so that they can now trust you because somebody else other than what you said you were good, and therefore again what they trust you, not only 25% of what somebody else says about you. So this is one way to give them the material that they really want to know, which is somebody else and what they said about you, and not just what individual one person said, but what many people said combined of what the general outcome of the people's thought about your product or service actually is. And so and then of course I wrote on here, 7th one is written testimonials. So those are the worst. Okay, if you have written testimonials, you use them, but most people, that's what they go for. They think this is good enough. Even if you have the headshot and the real name and you can link to their Facebook profile within your testimonial, it's still not nearly as good as this other stuff. It's just not, because written testimonials aren't believed anymore. Of course, I mentioned like Trustpilot and Angie's List and the reviews there, but at least there you have many, many people, and what they all cumulatively said about you is what you're showing them. One individual person writing one little thing, that has the least amount of perceived trust or added trust you're adding to that person's glass, as I described before, that you're going to be able to give them through what you can do to convince a user to buy through remarketing ads. But you add that in, and it can be a lot of times, like I said, not a lot by itself, but if you have it, throw it in with your other stuff, you'll get more people to the top of the glass as an average, and end up getting more out of this overall idea / strategy of testimonial / review ads set up for your company as a whole. So you'll get the lowest cost per lead / highest ROI from the ideas that I gave you at the top of the list, and then but they should all be profitable generally, or I don't want to say that. You'll have some of these be profitable for all of you guys. To whether or not all of them are profitable for everybody, I can't say that. But so in other words, start with the most profitable one and then work your way down the list, okay? And so, and some of these might not be profitable, but if you look at it as some of these will just make the other ones work better, or you won't see people clicking through your ad and buying from that very much, but may affect people that eventually we're going to come back anyway and buy, or they were going to buy later on. That affected their decision somewhat there. You just can't see it through the actual direct click through on the ad to buy. You may still do it anyway. But respectively, the ones at the top of the list, you will see a very high chance of them clicking through that ad, buying, and the cost to get that sale is cheaper than anything else that you're doing right away or doing now, as I mentioned at the start of the video. So that is kind of the deal with that. As far as these, I didn't mention on the review score, like displaying that from Trustpilot, Angie's List, Google, Facebook, the review scores that you get on those places. I use that on pretty much every company that we have. We use that very, very commonly for home services. Specifically, we did this with the several pool builders that we built, and had a big difference in the results we're getting, because more than anything, kind of in that space, they want to see out of the testimonials or the reviews that you got, what's your score? It's a bigger thing in that particular space. Respectively, anything in also the professional service category, these reviews are really key as well. But I wanted to give you an example there. In the written testimonials, I mean, that kind of goes for everything as well. Respectively, the home services is another big one where we use these heavily. We want to show what the overall review score was, but we also want to have on ads written testimonials itself as a way to kind of work in with that, so we can show here's what people are saying, and then here's our score on Trustpilot and on Google. And so if you're wondering how we got such a high score on Trustpilot and Google, well, you'll know why, because we've told you what individual people are saying here. If you want to see examples because we use these to prove that we use these all the time, go to our site at guaranteedppc.com/. Actually, I can't remember the exact URL. If you go to the website and then go under banner ads in the navigation, you can see a bunch of examples of banner ads that we run here for different campaigns. And we use those testimonial ads and these ads with showing the review score, as I talked about here under number 6 again, all the time basically. And so you can see a lot of different design versions where you can take the design, the layout of what we have, and just kind of reuse it, rip it off, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to start from scratch, because I've used that all the time. You don't have to come up with your own ideas per se, or just use it for inspiration, of course. But in general, that's what I wanted to get across in today's video. You should definitely use this stuff if you're not using it already. You'll help yourself out tremendously on anything you're doing already, and in the future as you're trying to scale up your company, in general, just grow. If you like this video, I would appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up, and it'll help, by liking it, it'll help the algorithm, help us use the algorithm to find other people that could use this information, be helped by it as well. If you like this video and you saw a lot of value in it, you should consider subscribing to the channel, because I have all kinds of different PPC techniques that we use here at the firm, that when we find something that works, we share it with you. And if you want to know what the latest, hottest stuff that works, you'll find it on this channel, because we have dozens of clients where we actively test stuff and we share with you guys what's working, so you don't have to try all the stuff for yourself. If you have any, want to learn how to do PPC and set actual campaigns up, what buttons to click on, how things are set up on a more step-by-step basis, you can also find. I have a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog with step-by-step instructions on how to build campaigns the way that we build them to guarantee our clients' results here at Guaranteed PPC. If you want to see things done on that more kind of technical level, I have good information for you there you may also want to use as well. If you have any questions about this particular review/testimonial ad strategy, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a day or two time. So beyond that though, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in my next video. It comes out in another day or two as well, where we have another great topic discussed, and you get to learn more about how to make money with PPC and have something that you can go out there and beat your competitors with, get some of their customers where you couldn't get them before potentially. So anyway, take care. See you next time.